Happy Snyder Cut, everybody. I'm back to do another video on something I've been waiting to make for a long time. Finally got some. My collection's looking pretty strong. I want to show it off. Let's talk about Secret Wars. I remember getting this at a convenience store and I saw that cover. I was like, whoa, Spider-Man's got a new costume. Blew my mind. I have this bad misfortune of never buying any comics with anything significant ever happens. I'll have like the issue before, the issue after, but I never have a comic book with anything landmark going on. But I got first Black Suit Spidey right here, and it was the tie-in, Secret Wars. So, pretty damn sweet. Here's the toys that go with them. Booyah! Here's my collection. One of my viewers asked for me to do a Secret Wars video a long time ago, and I had to tell him, you know what, I really don't have any of the figures. I had most of the figures when they first came out back in the day, and they kind of got lost, but I recovered most of them, and I bought a few new ones. So, here's one of my originals, here's one of my originals, here's one of my originals. Here is him I had to buy, him I had to buy, him I had to buy, him I had to buy. One of my originals, one of my originals. So we rebuilt my collection, and then some. I'm really happy about that. I was missing basically all the shields. Still had a gun. I still had one of his little laser pistols, but these were, I had to look through many boxes. And finally pieced back my collection. I used to have the helicopter too, used to have the little motorcycles, never had the Tower of Doom. Rebuilding this collection is more about facing reality other than having high expectations, because most of the shields are missing. Like I said, I had to buy some new shields too, guns too, and they also come with a little piece of cardboard in there to do this. That bit of 80s magic, that black magic that they had back in the day, a lenticular shield. And you're not going to find those. I think 4 of them came in each pack. Every action figure. So first thing is finding the shields, and then finding the right, at least one of these that go with it. So I'll be happy if I get Spider-Man shield, Captain America shield. I actually have one for every one of my villains. I still need another shield, but I have enough lenticular stuff for each guy. I actually got Magneto's. I store them in one of these guys' shields. But I was at a comic book shop maybe a month and a half ago, and they had him, and then they also had him. I was like, you know what? I need those figures. They'll rebuild my collection. And then after that, I went back. Ooh, I bought Daredevil also. We'll get on to him later. There's some talk I got to tell you about him. Like, this is what I said about realistic expectations. This is a broken tripwire figure. I know if I search eBay long enough, another waste part will be there, and I will have a complete figure. And it just takes time, a little bit of searching. I will fix this figure. As far as finding all of Dr. Octopus's little shields put in there, that's never going to happen. If I'm happy to have at least one shield and maybe one of these things for each figure, I'll be happy. As far as completing the set, that is financially irresponsible of me. Like I said, these came out in 1984 to compete with these guys. The much superior DC Superpowers figures from Kenner. And they had their little action features. They probably had, you can arguably say, better sculpting, because that looks like Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, DC's big-time artist from the 80s. He did all the advertising work and stuff like that, the character guides, and they did direct sculpts based on his stuff. But Iron Man's not so bad. This is, to me, probably the second Iron Man figure that was ever made, other than the Mego World's Greatest Superheroes. But I still think, as far as this version goes, this one's still top notch. But like you see, they reused a whole bunch of parts. Captain America, got gloves. Who else we got? Same gloves on Magneto. Did anybody else get pirate boots? No, but Kang, Daredevil feet, Dr. Octopus's legs. Most of Wolverine's reused. Spider-Man's pretty unique. He's got skinny arms and legs. But they reused him completely again for Black Spider-Man. I love that stuff when they reuse figure parts like that so shamelessly. And to make action figure bucks. Here is an action figure buck I've been trying to make myself with resin casts of arms, and I made these little pegs and stuff like that, and you know, torso made out of clay. And I just want to make one so I can just make tons of customs of whatever superhero I'm thinking of, just like Secret Wars does by reusing all the same parts. I'm going to make that with this. So I'll make like 3 different legs, 3 different arms, and just sculpt heads. But that inspired me. Hopefully, this will be my masterpiece. Alright, this row is when they first came out and I first saw them on the shelves. I remember getting them all in one night. Remember I got Iron Man, Captain America, Kang, had no clue who he was. He was a peg warmer. Nobody knew who he was then. He's going to be big coming up though. He's going to be an Ant-Man. I think he's going to be Marvel's big new villain coming on in the movies. Of course, Doctor Doom. Everybody knows Doctor Doom. Magneto, at the time, I had no clue who he was either. I think he was a peg warmer also. Because remember, Marvel was, they weren't as big, they weren't as household names as DC. So, there was no X-Men cartoon in 1984. This is the first Magneto figure ever. First Kang figure ever. But is that the first Doctor Doom figure? But, you know, he was a household name. He was Marvel's top villain. And he should be today. He should be in the Marvel. He'll coming up soon. MCU, they ain't going away. Next 20 years, he'll probably be the top Marvel villain. But everybody knew Cap. And this is, even though he's got the little shield, it's Tony Stark. The back of the package said he was Jim Rhodes. And in the comic book, it was Jim Rhodes. So I was confused. Who was Iron Man? I never knew. Because I had some Iron Man comic books, but I never actually read them when I was a kid. I just looked at the pictures. And it was Jim Rhodes at the time, in the 80s. Then I think I got, for that Christmas coming up that year, I know I got Spider-Man, I know I got Wolverine. Had to have got Dr. Octopus at the same time. But like I'm saying, with we'll get back to having realistic expectations. Then I tracked down forever. I remember seeing on the back of one of the packages that there was a black suit Spider-Man. Made my parents go search every store looking for that. Found him in a KB inside of a mall, and I was like, the best day ever. And this I only picked up maybe 2 weeks ago. Figure, I want to expand the collection. He was cheap. Got it on Etsy. I didn't even do eBay. Daredevil is from the second wave, and on the second wave they had Black Suit Spider-Man, they had Daredevil, they had Hobgoblin, which is my second favorite Spider-Man villain ever after Venom. Then they had Falcon, who I loved Winter Soldier and Falcon. Falcon just jumped up, you know, my superhero list from opening sequence of that. He was kicking some ass. Who else am I missing? Oh, then there's Baron Zemo, who's, no spoiler, he's in the trailer for the TV show. He's in there too. But then they have 3 European-only exclusive figures, which were Constrictor, who I have to jog my mind to know even if I've even seen him in a comic book before. Iceman and Electro, who looks pretty sweet. But they're going for $150, $200 in bad condition. Falcon, Hobgoblin, and the Zemo's not so bad. Nobody wants a Zemo figure. He's probably $25, $30. Falcon's probably like $40, $50. Hobgoblin's $60, $70. Fine, had a few beers and I'm at the Comic-Con. I might pay $60 for Hobgoblin. If I find a beat up Falcon just to have one for the collection for $20, I'll pay that. $25. Zemo, yeah, we don't really need him. They only had the 2 waves, and I guess me, like every other kid, was on to the next thing after that. So I only had the black suit Spider-Man at the time. And I don't ever recall ever seeing Hobgoblin. I would have picked up Hobgoblin. Even though I never really read any Hobgoblin comics at the time, he just looked cool. Alright, let's talk about Daredevil. If you look on eBay, if you're trying to buy a Daredevil figure, they do not look as good as this. A lot of the times, there's his face right there is all red, looks like his paint rubbed off, but it's not. And the arms and legs, really janky looking. Dark red, nasty looking. Looks like they're smeared. Actually, with this figure, like all older action figures, was particularly ones made with like a softer plastic. The plastic degrades, but Daredevil, for some reason I think it's got to do with the red, kind of seeps to the surface and it smears off in your fingers. You can get it off. Just wipe it off. Every time I get a sticky figure, I use Armor All on them. I get this at the dollar store. Wipes them right down. Takes the stickiness away, gets all that red smear off of him, but as you can see, he's not as red as his torso, because his torso is made out of like a harder plastic, and he's like a kind of a lighter shade of red now, because some of that red dye inside of him came out, but this figure looked like absolute garbage when I bought him off Etsy. That's another thing. Go to Etsy now. They got some good deals on figures. You don't always got to go to eBay. Primarily, they're about arts and crafts, but other people are just sticking up other stuff willy-nilly. So, good deals. I wanted to do another video just specifically on cleaning up a Daredevil figure, but I couldn't find another one cheap enough to do a demonstration for a video. Probably very few people have interest or going to watch, so I didn't want to spend money on that. Dr. Octopus, he originally came with octopus arms, but they all break off. You're going to find very rare Dr. Octopuses with his arms. And I showed him once in another video. The guy said it looked like Elton John. And once he said that, I can't unsee it. And I think that's pretty cool. It would be cool for people to make like an Elton John custom. Start with Dr. Octopus, who is one of the cheaper figures, because he's always broken. I covered him before in an earlier video. This is the first Wolverine figure ever made. Very landmark. I really knew nothing about him other than he looked cool in this collection, and I needed him, I wanted him, I had to have him. I know I had Wolverine's claws somewhere around in some of my bins. I have to find them, but that's another thing. You're going to have a hard time finding those on eBay without paying an arm and a leg. It's better to just buy the figure complete. It probably saves some money in the long run. So Secret Wars died after 2 waves, and we had to wait about a good 5 years for Toy Biz to come out and start producing superhero figures again. Based on Marvel stuff, so what do you guys like? You like Toy Biz or you like Secret Wars? You know, he's got a charm to him. They both don't have much movement, but I think the sculpt on him is pretty cooler looking. A little bit more realistically defined, where he's just big and chunky. You could do your DC versus Marvel crossovers back in the day, because they were compatible size. They were both about 4.5, 5 inches tall. So we had some fun times back in the 80s with these figures. But then we could do it all over again with these guys. Alright, my Spider-Man, this black suit Spider-Man and this Spider-Man, they've been on my shelf displayed since I got these guys. These are two of my all-time favorite action figures ever. I did not have the shield. I had to rebuy the shield. I got that in a lot on eBay of a bunch of shields. This is one of my little lenticular inserts. I managed to find that in a big drawer full of action figures I have. Black suit Spider-Man, Peter Parker. Black suit Spider-Man, Peter Parker. Look at that. Him beating up Dr. Octopus. I like this one. Look at this. Regular Spider-Man, black suit Spider-Man. I always try to save the extra little ones inside there, but sometimes it messes them up because you got to position them exactly right or you get nothing. Well, that one came out good. Here, like that. That's a mess. There's probably like 2 or 3 little shields in there, and you got to reposition them. There was some company a few years ago put out Secret Wars kind of tribute figures of public domain superheroes like Black Terror, which the channel's named after. I missed out on. Should have bought that. Can't find them anywhere. But I ordered one on Big Bad Toy Store for another character who looks almost the same as Black Terror called Black Fury. I've had that on pre-order for like months and months and months. I have no clue when I'm ever going to get it. I have a whole bunch of stuff on Big Bad Toy Store pre-ordered. I don't know when any of that stuff's ever going to come in the mail, but when I get that, I'm going to add that to this collection. So I'm going to be real happy, get a new Secret Wars figure. Alright, that's my collection. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Subscribe, comment, share, do all that stuff. Give me something to brag about by upping my subscription rate. I'm so close to 1,000. Once I get to 1,000, I feel like, then I can make like, 2 cents off each of my videos. That would be, one of my happiest, most proudest moments of my life. So help me out. Thank you. Party on.